And welcome to the Knowing Show. I am your host, Christene Marie. Y'all, we had a show lined up for tonight, and about an hour or two ago, I got a note from our guest, and we are rescheduling for another date. And you know, I'm okay with that. I actually feel like this is absolutely right, that we're just going to hang out just us tonight. And for those of you who are new to the Knowing Show, welcome. I just want to give a quick overview of who we are and why we are. We exist for the purpose of the cultivation of you and me. This show is really, truly for us. And I love this show for so many reasons, but one of the main reasons why I love it is because there are so many of you who are consistently showing up, who are doing the work. I've had folks send me messages and they're like, I think that I'm adjusting my point of view, or I think that I'm willing to examine an area of my life that needs to change. And y'all, that's the goal. That's the goal, is that we're growing, we're doing the work, we're better. At the end of the day, we're better together. And that is so much of why I love this show and why we exist, is because on the other side of knowing who we are and doing the work is freedom, is creation, is really connection at a really in-depth degree. The definition of emotional intelligence, and we don't just talk about emotional intelligence on the show. We talk about intellectual intelligence, artificial intelligence, spiritual intelligence, physical intelligence. But the definition of emotional intelligence and why it matters in connection with other people is because the first half of emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, to convey, and to control one's own emotions, to be aware of one's own emotions, and the ability to handle interpersonal relationships with wisdom and with empathy. And so that breeds connection. Emotional intelligence, at the overflow of that, is connection with others. And so for all those reasons, we do the work to know. For all those reasons, we do the work to show up on a daily basis, literally. We go live every morning at 9 a.m. and in the evenings during the week. And it's been such a blessing to grow along with you. And so we've got a lot in the works that's going to be coming down the pipeline in terms of the Knowing community. My book, I just got a notice from the editors today that it moved from copy editing to proofreading. So I think proofreading is more so like the structure of the book rather than like the grammatical changes, which is so exciting. So this book has been 3 years coming. But I'm going to jump here in the chat and just say hello. Also, I'm getting bit. I think I have a mosquito in my home. I woke up with a bug bite, and now I just got a bug bite on my arm. So if I randomly start clapping, I'm killing a mosquito. Jumping here in the chat, Wayne, good evening. I'm so glad to see you. Jingle Jungle, hello. Wayne, you look for the good in everything. I love it. Oh, I'm so glad, Wayne, that I feel like you do too. You know, after chatting with you as much as we have, I feel like it's the same way for you. The Gray Tone, hello. Good to see you, my friend. And emotional intelligence depends on emotions. Jingle Juggle, I'm curious what you mean by that. I feel like there's a lot of directions we could go with that concept. So I'm curious what you mean. Control of one's emotions is a fruit of the spirit. Oh, Man in the Hat, I love that. Also, hello. It is so true. It's so true. And that's such a beautiful frame, because we were talking this morning, for those of you who were on the Knowing Show this morning, we were talking about the 4 different categories of our intelligences that we cultivate as humans: intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and physical intelligence. And for each one of those, if we actually put investments in each one, we get returns on them. Like if you were to make a financial investment, you get a return. If I make a deposit and an investment into effectively the intellectual bank, I'm going to yield a particular return. Same goes for emotion, spirit, and the physical body. If we're working out and going to the gym, we're going to see the returns on our investment. And so what we were talking about this morning is that there's this concept of you shall know a tree by its fruit. So in so many ways, the returns that we actually get back are so often the very fruit of our labor. You know, and so it shows up in our lives of, oh man, okay, I've really been cultivating that part of me, and look at the yields I'm getting I'm bearing fruit in that area. And so to Man in the Hat's point, the fruit of the spirit. So in cultivating the spirit, there's 9 different fruits that are effectively, I like to think of them as key performance indicators for my business friends out there. We always talk about KPIs in business. What are the indicators of success? And so the KPIs of a spirit, like investing in our spirit, are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There's 9 of them. And what's interesting is that control is actually also a manifestation of emotional intelligence. So you've got these different fruits that kind of are applicable to these different areas of our intelligences. And so there's these KPIs that are actually really important for us to consider. What are the KPIs for me on an emotional scale? What indicate emotional, because to what you're saying, Jingle Jungle, it's not just being aware of our emotions, understanding and controlling them and then conveying them. There's an element of, okay, emotional intelligence. Yes, I have now data. I understand what's going on inside of me, but what is the mechanism of delivering and conveying those emotions? That's when it kind of switches over into health. You know, we can be intelligent and wise about what's going on, but we actually need to intentionally set the key performance indicators that mark success based on what our ideal is for each category. So what is my ideal physically? What is mine? Not what culture says about my physique, not what culture says about my health. What do I want in that regard? And it can be informed by all these different voices. You know, people have good things to say. There's a reason why we exist in community. But are we intentionally setting the target for each one of these intelligences and then identifying what is the KPI, what is the fruit that indicates whether I'm on track or off track, whether I'm healthy or unhealthy? And so the work that we do at the outset to create those ideals and then the KPIs that kind of guide us on track, then we can operate with a lot of peace. We've created the system and structure for our life. There have been some folks who have come on the chat and said, man, this is a lot of analytical thinking. This is too much. Y'all, if we want to live a life that we're proud of, it requires intention. The etymology of intention goes back all the way to the 1500s, which I just love. It has to do with the mind, body, soul, every part of you intending towards one outcome. And so if my intended outcome is to live a life that I can look back on and say, man, did I do that well? Then I actually need to engage every part of me towards living accordingly, mapping out like we're on this great mission. Every good story has ups and downs. Every good story has villains. Every good story has the nooks and crannies and the bends around the road. But also every good story has a clear plot. Where are you going? And so if we don't actually chart out for our lives, where are we going? And knowing what is our mission? Why are we here? Then it's going to be easy to take the wrong path or go down the road less traveled, perhaps, that actually isn't the one that we should have gone in the first place. We think of the road less traveled. This is interesting. We think of the road less traveled as, I think sometimes we can take pride in that, but there's benefit to being in community, and there's sometimes equal benefit to taking the road less traveled. But the goal is that we're being led about which there's a lot of paths, and sometimes there's multiple roads less traveled. And so knowing our ideal, knowing our target, shows which one is the one to take. Because if we're just choosing that one to kind of be rebellious, or I'm not going to be like everybody else, and so I'm going to take the road less traveled, that might actually be unnecessary isolation. But if it's the road towards your goal, then 100% go it and Godspeed at your back. Just jumping here in the chat. Good evening. Thank you everyone for joining in. And I just loved your comment that I needed to go double click on that. DJ, hello. I'm so glad to see you. I had a wonderful day. I love being with y'all. I just got off. I was on like back to back calls today. And so it's been fun. Like it's fun to kind of get the resurgence of energy that comes from being with people I love. So I love you all. Eric, good evening. I love authentic connections with others. Wayne says, me too. Oh my gosh. All right, I am hopping over to, let us go over to YouTube so I can just for those of you who are joining, for anyone who is being inappropriate, we have a rule where those who I know well in the community can actually let me know if I need to block or potentially put on timeout. So I am always looking for folks who need to tell me that someone needs to go. But otherwise, just please be respectful in the chat. All right, all right, David, it looks like David is no longer here. It looks like he has gone away. But I will keep an eye out for our friend David. I love that. Heavy Chevy, good to see you. Emotional deposit. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne says good vibes only. I love that. Thank you, Jingle Jungle and Man in the Hat. You guys are wonderful. All right, scrolling down. Ooh, there's so many interesting comments tonight. All right. Man, that looks like an upcoming blockathon. All right, y'all, for those of you who have not been appropriate, we are going to remove you. Here's the thing that's interesting. Honestly, there's something around after folks kind of get out the troll, then actually they convert into being meaningful. But not always. All right, I am just getting some people out. Luis, thank you. All right, let me see. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I love this. This is beautiful. The most powerful, I'm going to just say remembrance of God because I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce that correctly. For becoming a friend of God. Wow. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, we'll try that out. All right, y'all. We're just going to jump back in. Crow's Milk says, time runs out faster than anyone expects. Nick, hello from India. I'm glad to see you. Thank you, Quad 30. I appreciate it. 36 3 English. I know you want a question. We do the winning by prizes, or you get a prize if you win the whole round. So I'm sorry for the miscommunication there, but I'm so glad you're back. It's good to see you. Eep, hello. Jerry, good to see you. James, Matthew, Jerry B, hello. Vested, thank you. I like my earrings. Kevin, hello. Oh man, praying for all the trolls. I can't even fathom the hell inside their heads. What a good perspective. You know, it was funny. Early on in the show, so I've been going live since June of last year, and it was only in the last like 3 months that I actually, you know, for whatever reason, I guess YouTube let you all see me. But at the beginning, it was like, it's been less awful because I've actually put in words that people can't say here in the chat. So I've been very grateful for that. But at the very beginning, man, it was so rough. And my darling actually was like, just imagine how much pain they must be in if they're that cruel. And so it was a good reframe. All right, I am just looking through here. Vestige Rude, hello. Jeffrey, we are putting you on. We are just removing you. Matthew, hello from Wales. I'm glad to see you. Howdy from East Texas. Nice. I love that. Pablos, good evening. Jingle Jungle. I love it. Thank you. It's 2 a.m. Good for you. You got work at 7. Oh, man. Okay, well, go. Oh. All right. Luis, we don't talk like that here, but I'm just going to put you in timeout because I would love for you to hang out with us. So maybe you can come back when you're feeling better. Peter Johnson, hello. Good to see you. Nick, I'm glad you're here. All right, y'all, let's go back and talk about this concept around, we've got our 4 intelligences. We've got our intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and physical intelligence. And I actually would love for us to just take some time. Let's workshop this in real time. Let's actually do the work tonight. I would love to know if you were to create your ideal in each category. Let's go ahead and start with physical. I think that might be the easiest one. If you were to create, I like to think of it as a bowling alley, and our targets, our ideals are the bowling pins. So if you were to create your physical ideal, what would that be? And physical is health. It's literally what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're like the nutrition and supplements you're taking. It is, yes, working out, but like, what would the ideal be? And it's important that I want us to take a moment to think, is this my ideal? Did I create this? Or is this what was handed to me or modeled for me, or what culture has told me I should look like, feel like, take in, eat? For example, so one of the things that is an ideal for me is to actually not eat seed oils. Seed oils are, if you look at the genesis of them, they started as cleaning products in industrial factories. So I don't want to eat seed oils. They actually make me feel pretty bad. But here's the thing, if that's a part of my ideal health-wise, that then informs the decisions I make about the restaurants I go to. And that's been kind of an interesting thing. And I'm not die hard, because it does eliminate a lot of restaurants, but there's a decision and a cost. Somebody said this to me. They said, it is not a real value if there is no cost associated with it. And I thought that was so good, because we espouse all these values. We claim all these things that matter to us with no action accordingly. So if we're going to claim a value as it pertains to the physical health and our physical intelligence, then is there, and are we willing to pay the associated cost? So I'm going to go ahead and jump here in the chat. My physical ideal is, okay, Isaiah, y'all, please just, please, let's be appropriate here when we're talking about our physical, because I'm talking about health, right? We're not talking about, I'll just say it out loud. We're not talking about sexuality. We're talking about physical health and wellness. So I want to hear from you guys. My ideal would be anything other than what I do now. Oh no, man in the hat. What would that be like? Would it be actually going on walks? I went for 6 weeks to France and Italy and Croatia last year, and just by myself. And it was really fun. It was such a good experience. It was also challenging. I went there with a very intended purpose of finishing my book. And also I ended up kind of doing a whole little healing experience. I can talk more about that later. But I started walking after every meal, and I found that actually my digestion, I felt like the food went down in a way that I actually felt so much more, I didn't feel heavy. I felt lighter, and it felt like, oh, this is how food is supposed to be processed, going for a walk 10 minutes after eating. And so I've started doing that ever since, and it's been so meaningful. Charlie, hello. I'm so glad you're back. Okay, Charlie, we had to reschedule this conversation, the nucleus of the family. My guest had to, well, they didn't have to. We rescheduled for a couple of different reasons. So I'm waiting to hear back from them on which day. So I'm trying to think. This is the thing. If I can't see, or like, I don't really know. I'm still figuring out how to communicate with you guys. But I am going to be working on the knowing community where we actually have like back and forth where I can give announcements and like tag you guys. So I'm going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks. But I'll try to figure out how to let you know, Charlie. If you come back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our show, I will let you know, hopefully by then, the date and also how we can stay in touch, because I want to make sure that we get to that. Okay, so my physical ideal is to be mentally healthy. That's so good. I think that's such a good ideal. Peter Johnson, hello, good to see you. Elliot, good to see you. 363 English, I love it. I don't want to change a thing. I love it. All right, looking down. Bill Crew, I'm glad you're here. DJ, my physical ideal would be me back in 2014, coming back from Afghan. I was a pit bull. Good for you. Do you think that you could get back to that? Like if you were to try, or I don't know, is that even realistic? There's also, this is my ideal and here's what's realistic. So that's a good point. CRTN, I actually have no idea how you know that. So I'll take a peek, but I did take vitamin C today. So hopefully if I'm starting to get sick, it helps. Walk with curiosity, Bill says. I love that. Jingle Jingle, try chia seed drinks. It's good for digestion. I love that. I just got chia seeds. Walking, I have no shortage on my job sites, including stairs, ramps, and a total of 10 floors. Dude, you're getting all of the exercise, man. Lamel, thank you for joining. Your body was upright and shaking the food down. Yes, very helpful to be active. No, Charlie, it's so funny because that was going to be our goal. That was going to be our topic for tonight. So I'm with you. I want to have that conversation. All right, let's go ahead. My physical ideal for myself is my current shape. Nice. Honestly, good for you, Isaiah. You know what a blessing that is. And this is a question. How old are you? Because someone told me, they were like, Christine, when you turn 35, so get the habits in now, because once you turn 35, it like all goes down. Charlie wants to lose 80 pounds. Charlie, let's go. Oh my gosh, wait, you guys. All right. So Sunday, I'm starting a 61-day challenge. This is where, I think I mentioned it this morning. If you guys want to join, I'm starting a WhatsApp group. And I started this last month, or I guess 3 months ago for me at the end of January. I wanted to hold myself accountable, so I invited people to join me. So if you guys want to join me, we're going to do a 61-day challenge. We're meeting on Sunday to define what that challenge is. And then on Friday, May 1st, we're starting all the way through the end of June, and we end July 1st. So if you guys actually want to make, like, have your physical body or working out or something like that be your challenge, let's do it. Let's go. This is so fun. This would be so fun to do together. Okay, hold on. I am putting this here in the chat for anyone who wants to join. We're gonna do the challenge together. I actually have to pick my one thing. I don't know what my one thing is gonna be yet. I've got to think about it. I just turned 43, but I move like I'm 21 years old. Good for you. I'm starting a 30-day challenge in 30 days. Are you starting at like the start of what's in 30 days? Are you joking? Hard to please, guys. Oh my gosh, Isaiah, I'm 24. Good for you. Maintain it. Don't lose it. Oh, I love this. Kevin says our bodies are a temple and treat them as such. The spiritual and physical are connected more than we realize. So good. Oh my gosh. It's really true, y'all. We were talking about this the other day. We were talking about how our cortisol impacts our emotions, which impacts our literally our brain. And it's just all so connected. And to add in the spiritual element, I love that you said that. All right, so let's go to, I couldn't get to that. I could do something like it maybe, but wear and tear on my body isn't possible. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Yeah. Thank you for your service, DJ. I know I've thanked you before, but thank you. Tat Vaughn, someone told me that just the other day. So interesting. Shaik, hello, good to see you. Oh, Man in the Hat. I'm going to go check that. I've been saving all of my, DJ, I owe you an email, Man in the Hat. And not that I owe you guys an email. I want to email you all back. And I have it on my Saturday morning after my vertical alignment. That's like my time to just be and enjoy. And I'm excited to email y'all in that space that I've dedicated. 363 English. Thank you. I do have a darling, but if you know, thank you. Chip Broadhead, thank you for joining. The Count of St. Germain. I'm so glad you're here. Oh my gosh. I love my rings. I love my rings. My darling asked me, we were talking about engagement rings. It might be a while, but that's okay. And I was like, honestly, I don't need a diamond. They're so expensive and I don't want to lose it because that's terrible. I was like, just get me a fun ring that we can switch out every couple years. That is big and fun like this one. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I just love rings. Chip, good for you. That's a big deal if you can do that. I love that. Stop aging, Christine. My best advice, just stop. Man, advice of the night. All right. I'll start doing push-ups again every day for 61 days. That's my commitment to myself. That's my challenge. Wayne, I love that. Good for you. Oh, that's such a good challenge. How many days? No, 61. How many push-ups? How many push-ups are you going to do? For mental intelligence, I could definitely go without reading some of these comments reasons. I know sometimes the comments are not very encouraging. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next one. So we're talking about physical. What's our ideal there? And then if you guys are going to do the 61-day challenge, what would that be? And then the next question is, okay, what is your ideal? Let's go ahead and go with intellectually. I already know exactly what my ideal is. And, okay, so intellectually. And again, for those of you who are just joining, we're talking about what is our ideal in each category of ourselves. Intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, physical intelligence. And the reason why it's so important for us to think and actually consider and maybe even visualize what is my ideal is because so often other people have assigned that for us. Other people have come in and written the scripts of, hey, this is what you should go for. This is what you should aim at. I was teaching a mastermind it was about 15 entrepreneurs, highly successful entrepreneurs. We went through an audit of their personal life, and I had them give their personal life a score. I had them say what their target was in each category, what their score was, and then I think that was it for the first exercise. And then we went back to that goal. Their goal for their finances, their goal for their health, their goal for their emotions, their relationship. And I said, is that goal created by you or by somebody else? For the majority of these highly successful entrepreneurs, the majority of their goals were preset by them for them by their subconscious mind, by their parents, by culture, by their pastor, by their partner. It wasn't theirs. And when they actually sat and looked at it, they're like, I'm trying to build, a $10 million business. I actually don't really want to do that. And it was wild. It was these, again, highly successful people, but their success, all of their KPIs, all of their key performance indicators were created by other people. So is that success? I don't think so. I don't think that that's success. I think success is when we can be proud of the life that we've lived, where we're proud of it for our own standard, by the way we were created to be at the very beginning, to accomplish the very thing you and I are uniquely created to accomplish. So what does that look like? And so now we're kind of looking at it from this perspective of, okay, what is your ideal as it pertains to intellectual intelligence? Okay, I am going to scroll up in the chat. Yay, Chipotle, I just subscribed. Yay, I'm so excited. Come do it with us. So Sunday we start our we're all going to meet Sunday afternoon for whoever's going to do this. And then, yeah, Sunday afternoon, we're going to meet and we're going to do the 61-day challenge. I'm so excited. For those of you who want to do a 61-day challenge, we're going through the different categories of our intelligences, identifying what's our ideal in them. And then kind of at the end, if you guys want to join the challenge, pick one category that you want to see growth in. Okay, so there's a 61-day challenge link. All right, so going back to this, Wayne's going to be doing 61 or push-ups for 61 days. I'm going to get down to the scroll eventually and find out how many. Go with your birthstone. It would be ruby, and I don't ever wear red. But maybe that's good for me to not wear red. Or wear red with a red stone. That's an interesting idea. Mr. Reaper, hello. YouTube premium member, hello. Luis, you're back. Hello, I'm glad you're here. The value of diamonds is completely fake. The Count of Saint Germain, that's so why I don't want an engagement ring or a diamond for that reason. Thoughts of a language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Thoughts are the language of the brain. Feelings are the language of the body. Wayne, I love that. I've heard something like that before. It's so good. It's a blessing to age, lest we forget. Oh, DJ, that's such a good perspective. Shaik, I'm sorry I can't read what you're saying. Life should be life, not just 61 days, Bill says. Bill, I agree with you. The reason why it's 61 days is because it takes about 60 days to create a habit. And some people say 30 days, some people say 90 days. So I picked 61 because it allows for the 31st day. All right. What is physical intelligence? So I love that you asked that. It's effectively our body keeps the score. Our body, and that's the title of a book, our body stores data. Our body in the way that with our nervous system, with our literally digestive tract, with the way the brain is working and moving. There's so much that is interconnected with our past experiences, with what we've observed, with what we have literally physically experienced in the world, not just emotionally, but physically experienced. And so I really love to think of it as we go and mine data about what our body literally has stored. And we see it with a lot of times it's PTSD or trauma victims where their body takes them back to a moment and they feel like they're reliving the trauma of what occurred in the past. And so when we talk about physical intelligence, it's just most everything touching and having to do with the body. Louise says, be in better shape. Uh-oh, I lost it. I scrolled down, I think. Never in better shape. Oh, I'm so glad. Good for you. Also, hold on one second, guys. I like to save these chats, and I should have saved them sooner. Hold on. All right. Uh-oh, hold on. All right, I'm going to save this chat so that I can go back. Oh, I think I found my fly. Did I? All right, let me save this chat, and then we will keep going. All right. All right, so intellectual intelligence is our topic right now. What is your ideal? And then we will move on to the next. Okay. Hi, Brittany. I'm glad you're here. The saint, hello, intellectual intelligence. I would want the wisdom to know right away how to handle any situation like Jesus would without having to think about it. That's beautiful. All right. I feel like people are not being kind in the chat. 363 English and the count. Just call a truce. The chief of medicine man, hello. I'm glad to see you. Dad strength, good to see you. JK, hello. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Robert, hello. Timothy, good to see you. Wayne, what's the goal and who created it? Yeah. What's the goal and who created it? That's so much of what it is. All right, let's keep going. I'm trying to see where other folks have entered their. Once for those of you who are regulars, we'll move off of the YouTube chat when we actually do the community so that it kind of like weeds us all out from everything else happening here because it's hard to read. Fight in the chat, DJ says. Kevin, hello. Burrows, good to see you. Juanito, hello. Roberto, hello. I'm not married, but I do have a darling. Our intellectual goal would be not to be so tough on myself while still pushing my limits, Elliot. First, thank you for actually answering the question. Second, I love that. That is so, man, if I want to do another double click here because Elliot, what you're saying is so incredibly profound. Y'all, this is where all of, the physical intelligence, we're all so connected. So our nervous system has a really, really hard time if we are having high cortisol and high stress and our body is in one of the 4 F's, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. It's going to be so hard for us to learn new information. It's hard to introduce what is necessary for us to get to the next level in our life if we are actually kind of in a trauma response. And so for us to really be able to grow and experience that, it's so necessary that we actually do learn how to bring our physical body to a place of stasis and peace so that we can actually introduce new information. And then honestly, there's a lot of growth that can be on the other side of that. I'm not sure. I know what I want intellectually. I don't really know what that means. I need more info. So, okay. So let me tell you guys this. My ideal, what came to mind for me in terms of what was my goal for intellectual intelligence is 100% prescribed by culture, very much so. And at the same time, it keeps coming up for me literally over the last probably 15 years, it keeps coming up. So what I mean by that is that the very first thing that comes up for me in terms of intellectual intelligence is getting a college degree. I do not have a college degree. I've not taken one single class of college. And that's something that I really I really want that. But I also know that there's a pedigree and a value assigned to school that is from society. Society has deemed that college, if you have a college degree, you are at a certain level of intelligence. And it's like, okay, well, could I actually pursue that for my own self, not because of what people will think? If there was no one else in the universe, would I go to college? And I don't know. It's funny. I feel like there's almost a little girl in me that wants to go to school. I don't know. It's funny. I feel like I need to sit with that one. But that's an example of a goal that immediately comes to mind, or an ideal that comes to mind where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I actually set that. I kind of think other people did. So, y'all, my timer just went off. I am going to my darling's mom's house and bringing her dinner, and we're going to watch Trek because she loves that movie. And so I need to go. And I'm so sad that we didn't get to the other two intelligences, but let's pick this up. Let's pick this up tomorrow and finish our conversation. So we still need to run through. First, I'm actually going to look back at these chats so that I can kind of come in tomorrow on the same page as y'all. Because I know that we weren't able to, I didn't get to go through what everyone was saying. So let's see. I'm just looking through here at the chat. All right. Y'all, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I will read through the chat before tomorrow for the ones that I haven't seen. We'll be back online tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. We're going to run through our daily lesson in A Course in Miracles, and then we will be back on tomorrow evening. We are eventually going to switch to going live at 6 p.m. Eastern, but for tomorrow, and just until we kind of get back on schedule, we'll go ahead and go live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning, 8:30 p.m. Eastern in the evening, and we will continue this conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love y'all. Remember, we get to choose peace. We get to choose peace, and we get to choose our own ideal. And ideally, we're choosing something that is in accordance with why we were created in the first place. So have a wonderful night, y'all. I will see you tomorrow.